everyone, my name is Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am bringing you guys my August TBR. This TBR is going to be a bit different because August is actually ARC August, and if you don't know what an ARC is, that is an advanced reader copy. I get a lot of e-ARCs off of NetGalley, which is a website that anyone can sign up for, and essentially you request to get free e-ARCs in exchange for your honest review. So because ARC August is obviously all about reading as many ARCs as possible, I don't have as many physical books on this TBR. I don't have as many backlist titles on this TBR. So I just have a list on my phone of ARCs that I really want to get to this month because they're either books that are coming out in August or early September. So without further ado, I'm just gonna kind of list these books for you guys. The first one that I have is Bookish and the Beast by Ashley Poston. This is the third book in her Once Upon a Con series that basically centers around this Comic-Con-like convention. And these are essentially YA contemporary fairy tale retellings. I really loved Geekerella, which is the first book, and as you can probably tell, that's based on the Cinderella story. I gave that one 5 stars. Then we had the Princess and the Fangirl. That one was also really cute. I gave that one 4 stars. So I'm really excited about this book because you guys probably know by now I am absolute trash for Beauty and the Beast retellings, so I hope that this one doesn't disappoint. So Bookish and the Beast is coming out August 4th. I have a couple of other books that are also coming out on August 4th that I would like to try to get to before they're released, but we'll see if that happens. The first one is You Had Me at Hola by Alexis Daria. First of all, I absolutely adore this cover and the premise just sounds like so much fun. It essentially centers around these two telenovela actors and they kind of practice their chemistry off camera and it turns into something more. That just sounds like such a fun time. I have one of her other books already on my Kindle. I think it's called Take the Lead, and that's centering around like a Dancing with the Stars type competition show. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to checking out this author's work. So the last book that I have that is also coming out on August 4th is The Black Kids by Christina Hammonds Reed. I don't know too much about this plot except that it does take place in 1992 in Los Angeles, around the time that Rodney King was brutalized by police officers in Los Angeles. I've heard really good things about this book so far, just from reviews that I've seen on Goodreads. I've heard it being compared to The Hate You Give and books like that, so I'm definitely really looking forward to this one. Then on August 25th, Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angelis. This is a book that was marketed as Moulin Rouge meets the Phantom of the Opera, and of course that sounds absolutely fantastic. This is a YA fantasy. I believe it's going to be a series, and I'm looking forward to this one. I've seen some really great reviews on Goodreads for this one as well. Next book I have is Cinderella is Dead by Kaylin Byron. This came out July 7th. This of course is a retelling of Cinderella, but it centers around Black characters, and I'm pretty sure there's also a sapphic romance involved, so that sounds really great. Once again, I've heard really great things about this book. Then we have A Dark and Stormy Night by Kerrigan Byrne. This came out, I want to say at the end of June, and I have the audiobook for this one on hold from my Libby app, so that should be coming in within like the next couple of weeks, and I'm really looking forward to reading that one. This is a part of her Victorian Rebels series, and I've read 2 books in that series so far and have really been liking them. Kerrigan Byrne is definitely an author that's known for like darker and angstier historical romances, and you know, sometimes you just want that in your life, and I think that she does those stories really well. So yeah, I'm definitely really looking forward to reading this one. Okay, and then the last e-ARC that I have is actually one that comes out September 1st, so not in August, but this one is When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. So Alyssa Cole is known for writing romance novels. She's really known for her Reluctant Royal series. I have not read anything by this author before, but I was really intrigued when I saw that she was coming out with a thriller. And as far as I know, this one centers around the idea of gentrification, and this does center around Black main characters, which again, we just need more of in the thriller genre. I'm kind of getting sick and tired of reading thrillers all about basic white people, so we definitely need more diversity in the genre. I'm really looking forward to seeing how she writes a thriller. And then I also, of course, want to check out her romance novels at some point. Okay, so that is it for all of the e-ARCs that I plan on reading this month. I might read more, I might read less. I am just trying to get through as many of them as possible because, like I said, it is going to be ARC August. This is going to be the whole point of my reading for the next month. So then on to my physical stack of books. I just have a few right next to me because I didn't want to be too ambitious. I didn't want to put too much pressure on myself to read too many physical books on top of all of these arcs that I want to get to, but I have 3 historical romances right here. I am planning on doing a reading vlog where I read new to me historical romance authors. The first book that I have is Destiny's Embrace by Beverly Jenkins. She is a Black historical romance author. We definitely need more diversity in this genre as well. This is her like Destiny trilogy. This is the first book, and this one centers around Mariah Cooper. She ends up moving to California to be a housekeeper, and it turns out that the man she's working for is very arrogant. He's kind of an asshole, so this sounds like it's going to be an enemies to lover situation, which, let's face it, we all enjoy. And this also sounds like it's taking place in the Old West, the Wild West, so that sounds really intriguing. I haven't read many historical romances that take place in the US, and I've heard nothing but good things about Beverly Jenkins's work, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. The next historical romance I have is Scandalous Desires by Elizabeth Hoyt. This is a part of her Maiden Lane series. This is a pirate romance. I'll read a little bit of the blurb on the back. So it says, river pirate charming Mickey O'Connor has lifted himself from the depths of the slums to be the king of St. Giles. Anything he wants he gets, with one exception. Silence Hollingbrooke has been haunting his dreams ever since she spent a single night in his bed. Silence is kind of a weird name, isn't it? Like, was that a name that people used back then? I don't know. I just find that to be a very odd name to call your child, but okay. But yeah, this sounds really good. Love me some pirate romances. I read one this past month and absolutely loved it. So I'm really looking forward to Elizabeth Hoyt's works. I've heard that she does put a lot of adventure and like action type scenes in her books. So she kind of balances out the romance with like more exciting things, and that sounds really fun. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this one as well. The last historical romance I have is The Madness of Lord Ian Mackenzie by Jennifer Ashley. This is a book that so many people in the romance community just rave about. I've heard nothing but phenomenal things. This one centers around Ian Mackenzie, and he was put in an asylum in his youth, so he spent most of his life in an asylum because I'm pretty sure he might be on like the autism spectrum, but of course during this time they didn't have that terminology, they didn't know what that was, and so anybody who wasn't normal was just like thrown into an asylum, which is really messed up. And so basically he doesn't really trust anyone because he's been living in this asylum, and he's like a nerd, he's a scientist, and yeah, I'm so pumped for this one. I have a feeling that I'm going to enjoy all 3 of these, so I cannot wait to do a reading vlog for these. So next up we have A Torch Against the Night. This is book 2 in the Ember in the Ashes series by Saba Tahir. I recently read An Ember in the Ashes, which is the first book, of course, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I'll talk about it more in my end of July reading wrap up, but I am really looking forward to reading the second book, you know, seeing where the plot goes from where the first book ended. The characters are really interesting in this series. I definitely recommend it if you are someone who's into YA fantasy and you haven't checked this out yet. I definitely think it's a good one to go with. Next up we have some nonfiction books that I'm really looking forward to getting to this month. Mainly I'm planning on reading these this month because my loans for the audiobooks are coming in a couple of weeks. So the first one is Me and White Supremacy, Combat Racism, Change the World, and Become a Good Ancestor. This is by Layla F. Saad, and this one is interesting because she got the idea to write this book after she did this Instagram challenge called #Me and White Supremacy. She didn't think that this hashtag would spread as much as it did. I'm really looking forward to reading this and seeing if there are any similarities between this book and White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo, which was a book that I read last month and really enjoyed. So yeah, looking forward to this one. And then the other 2 nonfiction books I have are both by Ibram X. Kendi. The first one is Stamped from the Beginning, The Definitive History of Racist Ideas in America. And this is a chunky book. I mean, obviously it's pretty much a history textbook. Let me see how many pages this has actually, because I kind of want to prepare myself before going into this. It looks like it has about 550 pages. So this is definitely going to take me a while to get through, because with nonfiction, I definitely have to take my time to really let the information sink in and learn as much as possible. I definitely am going to tab and annotate this book a lot. Ibram X. Kendi, he is a professor at Boston University now, I believe, and also this was the National Book Award winner, I believe, in 2016. And so many people just rave and rave about how amazing of a resource this is, so I'm really looking forward to learning a lot from this one. The other book that I have by him is How to Be an Anti-Racist. This is another one that just has gotten so many rave reviews and is just seen as an amazing resource. And I know that I definitely have a very long way to go in terms of my own growth and learning in how to become an anti-racist and how to really become an activist and an ally for racial justice. All right, guys, we actually just have one more physical book on this TBR, and it is quite a chunky book. And that is going to be House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. This is the first book in her new Crescent City series. This is an adult fantasy series, and this book is 800 pages. So this book and Stand From the Beginning are the main reasons why I didn't put too many physical books on my TBR in conjunction with ARC August, because I know that this book is going to take me, I don't know, probably about a week to get through, because it's 800 pages. I do have the audiobook for this one off of Audible. I did use an Audible credit because I just knew that with a chunky book like this that the audiobook would just help me a lot. This one is an urban modern fantasy, I think, because there's like angels and fae, but yet it also takes place in a very modern world. They have technology. I think they have like cell phones and computers and things like that. So I'm really interested to see how that kind of world is going to work, because I've never read a story quite like this and I've never experienced a world quite like this before. So I'm very interested to see what direction Sarah J. Maas takes this story in. I've heard phenomenal things about this book. A lot of people say that this is her best book yet. So I am, of course, so pumped to get to it this month. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this TBR video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I would love it if you would leave a like and subscribe, and I thank you in advance if you do. I would also love it if you would leave a comment below if you want to discuss any of the books that I brought up in this video. And with that being said, I'll see you guys soon. Bye!